passionate about something, you keep your word, watch this, even if keeping your word hurts you. When you are passionate about something, you realize that your commitment is first to God. So you are not committing to them, watch this, because they are committed to you. You are not committed to it because it's committed to you. You are committed to whatever you're committed to because you're committed to God. And when I'm committed to God, whatever God commits to my hand, I will deal with the pain that comes with the territory. Jesus says, a new commandment I leave with you. Love ye one another. As I have loved you, love one another. For how can you love God who you've never seen and hate your brother that you have with you every day? Well, let me tell y'all what love looks like, because we've become confused in this modern day time. We think that love is only mushiness and acceptance, but sometimes love manifests itself in forgiveness, and sometimes love manifests itself in confrontation, and sometimes love manifests itself in correction. That means that if I really walk in love, if you offend me, the God in me will cause me to forgive you. And if I walk in love, I'll speak the truth in love and confront you when things are... to a whole nother level wherein you allow your divine nature to override your carnal nature. God is calling you to a level where you are above what the enemy's trying to do, and understand that no matter what he does, that all things work together for your good. I came to preach to somebody in here today to let you know that you may not understand it now. Serving may not make sense now. Shutting up may not make sense now. Holding your peace may not make sense now. Staying your hand may not make sense now, but you will understand it better. Has sent an apostolic order and a prophetic proclamation that the devil has to take his hands off your whole family. The devil has to take his hands off your whole bloodline. Jesus says to two of his disciples, y'all go into the city and there you gonna find a mama and her baby. They gonna be tied up, and you tell whoever has them to let them go. And if they ask you who told them to let you go, let them go. Just tell them the master had need for them. Y'all miss what I said. He said, tell them the master has need for them. I came to preach to let you know that every Pharaoh that has you and your family bound, the buck stops here. They got to let you go. To some pastors in here, the Lord, if he's giving you a message, y'all watch me please, wherever you are, pastor, wherever you are in Africa, in Canada, wherever you are in Costa Rica, stick to the guns that the Lord has given you and keep preaching, watch this, to empty seats as if they're filled with people. Keep preaching to a building. Keep preaching the message that God is giving you, even when it looks like nobody is responding because your suddenly is God's eventually. Will you touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, that's a prophetic word for you. God told me to tell you that your suddenly is his eventually. In other words, it may not happen when you want it to happen, but it's going to happen right on time. Keep praying, keep fasting, keep believing, keep studying, keep giving God glory, because God's immediately will be your Jesus says something that's really interesting. No man can serve two masters. Hear this. You either love one and hate the other. You can't keep peace with him and with it. You can't keep peace with something that was in your past, that was holding you bondage and holding you captive to all of the things that God was trying to get you out of. You cannot try to keep that thing on a particular spot of peace and think that you can please. You stay connected. If you abide in me, if you make up in your mind that you are going to have uninterrupted yet intentional communion and fellowship with, if you make up in your mind that you will let nothing separate you from my love, if you make up in your mind that no matter what happens, when the enemy comes in like a flood, you are going to depend on me, my spirit, to raise up a standard against the enemy. If you make up in your mind that you are just going to stand, God have mercy, you can ask me anything. Jesus is succeeding and Simon is failing. Let me say it again. Jesus is growing a crowd. Jesus' purpose is manifesting. Jesus is doing what God has sent him to do. He is successful, but Simon is unsuccessful. All right, let me preach to somebody in here to help you to understand that, my brothers and my sisters, what God is getting ready to do in your life is he's getting ready to give you a divine connection with somebody, watch this, who is succeeding while you're struggling. God's getting ready to give you a divine connection to somebody who don't mind lending a hand to pull you to where you need to be. God is getting ready to give you a divine connection to somebody, watch this, who is going to see your struggle and offer a helping hand. That's why you can't be envious. That's why you can't be jealous. That's why you can't be critical. That's why you can't be judgmental, because the very person that you might be criticizing and judging just might be the person who has the oil to get you to your God is an awesome God. And you said the pain that you fear might be the pain that will fix you. Go ahead and grab it. The pain that you're trying to stay away from just might be the pain that will usher you into your next. Your neighbor ain't talking to you. Find somebody that look like they into this word and say, neighbor, go ahead and hug the cactus. Go ahead and hug it. 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 Can I tell you why you ought to hug it? You ought to hug it. Watch this. Because the body is built with a system that has a threshold of pain. And when you hug the cactus and the pain gets to the place where you can't bear it, plan for Jesus to go through everything that he went through, to go through the betrayal, to go through the denial, to go through the beating, to go through the crucifixion, to go through the burial, because without a burial there can be no resurrection, and without resurrection there can be no ascension. I don't know who I'm preaching to today, but many of us under the sound of my voice are blaming the wrong person for what we're going through. There's some stuff that only God can orchestrate to bring the best out of you. There's some stuff that only God can orchestrate to take you to the next level. There's some trouble, some trial, some tribulation that if God don't put it together, it won't get you to where you are. Whatever your it is, it will come to an end. Whatever the enemy's been doing, whatever you've been challenged with, whatever has been messing with you, the jig is almost up. And sooner or later, it's going to turn in your favor. I said sooner or later, it's going to turn in your favor. Will you do me a favor and just turn real quick? Tell yourself, sit down somewhere and heal. This ain't the season to show up and your heart ain't in it. This ain't the season for you to be there and you ain't with the program. This ain't the season for you to smile in their face and talk behind their back. This ain't the season for you to tell them you love them with grudges and hurt and all that stuff in your heart. Sit down somewhere and